This is the revision video for Unit B1, Homeostasis. Inside all of the cells in your body, lots of chemical reactions are going on, all controlled by enzymes. Your cells will not function well if your body is the wrong temperature, does not have the right amount of water, or there is too much carbon dioxide in the blood. Homeostasis is the maintenance of your body's internal conditions. This includes regulating temperature, blood sugar levels, and amounts of water and mineral ions. These factors are kept at steady levels by automatic control systems involving nerves and hormones. The temperature of the human body is normally kept at about 37 degrees. This is the core temperature of your body though. Your fingers and toes will feel colder than this. Body temperature is monitored and controlled by the thermoregulatory centre in the brain. This is located in a part of the brain called the hypothalamus. It is very dangerous if your body temperature goes above 40 degrees or below 35 degrees. Above 40 degrees you may suffer from heat stroke and dehydration, and below 35 degrees your body develops hypothermia and if untreated can lead to death. If the body is too cold, then it needs to gain heat to make sure the internal temperature doesn't drop. The following things happen when you are cold. Respiration in cells increases to release energy as heat. You start to shiver to generate heat. Less blood flows near the surface of the skin. This is known as vasoconstriction. Sweat glands do not produce sweat, and hairs on the skin stand up to trap a layer of air as insulation. If the body is too hot, then it needs to lose excess heat to make sure the internal temperature doesn't rise. The following things happen when you are hot. More blood flows near the surface of the skin to give off more heat to the environment. This is known as vasodilation. You produce more sweat. As the water in sweat evaporates, it takes excess heat with it and transfers it to the environment. And the hairs on your skin lie flat so that they do not trap a layer of air, producing extra insulation. The systems that keep internal conditions constant operate by a negative feedback system. This means that if the level of something changes away from what it should be, then a sense organ in your body detects that change. This then sends information to the brain, which sends out messages back to your body to set processes in motion to bring the internal conditions back into balance. So if you get too hot, processes are set in motion to cool you down, or if you get too cold, processes are set in motion to warm you up. Hormones are chemicals that are secreted from glands into the bloodstream, where they travel around in the blood to their target organ. They regulate the functions of many organs and cells and control many processes within the body. The body usually reacts more slowly to hormones than to nerve impulses, and so hormones coordinate longer-term changes such as puberty. Hormones are synthesized and released from the cells where they are made, and then they travel all over the body in the blood to reach their target organs. Some hormones, however, can act quickly, such as adrenaline, which is released when you are frightened. The diagram shows the endocrine glands of the body which are responsible for producing and releasing hormones. The pancreas makes a hormone called insulin, which controls the amount of glucose in the blood. The blood must have the right amount of glucose so it can deliver it to the cells. The cells can then get energy from that glucose. If there is too much glucose in the blood, then the pancreas secretes a hormone called insulin. The insulin then travels in the blood to the liver and muscles. Here it triggers the excess glucose to be taken up and changed into another carbohydrate called glycogen. Glucose cannot be stored in cells because it is soluble. Glycogen is a much larger insoluble molecule which can be stored. The blood glucose level then decreases. The blood can now deliver the correct amount of glucose to the cells for them to use as energy. So, to summarise, blood sugar levels are monitored and controlled by the pancreas. There are actually two hormones produced by the pancreas that control blood sugar levels. When glucose levels are too high, insulin is released to convert glucose to glycogen. If blood sugar levels drop too low, then another hormone called glucagon is released that converts the stored glycogen back into glucose so it is available to use. If your pancreas does not make enough insulin, this causes a disease called diabetes. People with diabetes have to test their blood to see how much glucose is in it. Some people with diabetes control their blood sugar levels by injecting themselves with insulin. They can also control blood sugar levels by making sure they do not eat much sugary food. There are two types of diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is caused when a person's own immune system has destroyed the cells in the pancreas that make insulin. Type 1 diabetes is controlled with insulin injections at meal times. Type 2 diabetes is also known as adult onset diabetes, as it occurs later in life and is often linked to being overweight. It happens because the person's cells do not respond to insulin, and their pancreas may also not be making enough insulin. Type 2 diabetes may be controlled by eating a balanced diet with less sugary food. People with type 2 diabetes may also take medication so that their pancreas produces more insulin. In some cases, type 2 diabetes sufferers may need to inject themselves with insulin.